the options, or what I'm trying to say is, it didn't seem right up until this one moment, and I kept that itch and kept that desire, and here I am. So.
What'd you do between 17 and 24?
Tried to stay out of trouble like everybody else at 17 and 24. I worked some odd jobs directly out of high school. I was fortunate enough to work for Advanced Auto Parts for a little while. I got hired on through the Walmart Distribution Center. I worked for them for a couple of years, and then I went and worked for a John Deere power plant in my hometown. I worked there for about 2.5 years, and it just didn't seem like it's something I wanted to be doing for the rest of my life, was working that factory type situation. I was married 2 other times before, because a lot of times you make decisions when you're younger that just don't pan out whenever you become a mature adult. And it affects my marriage with my wife now sometimes, but she's got the best product she's got, and I do too. I'm a better man based off my experiences from my past, and you can't do anything but move forward.
Marines patrolled in armored convoys. The convoys were led by vehicles like this one, pushing a mine roller in front of it, a heavily weighted platform with wheels to set off any buried mines. The convoys traveled slowly, always on the lookout for mines, IEDs. The 7-mile trip to Kenjagoliet, for instance, often took an hour or 2. The more vehicles the Marines lost, the fewer patrols they could mount, giving the enemy more access to the villages within the Marine AO, area of operations. So the enemy adapted. As impressive as these multi-million-dollar Goliaths are, and as much protection as they provided the Marines inside, they were vulnerable. The enemy stopped engaging the Marines in gunfights and relied instead on the simplest of weapons.
Well, we've been sitting here in Afghanistan in RAO. It's real simple. You have a pressure plate. You have 2 metal contacts with wires running to each and a battery. You close it, closes the switch. IED goes boom. Real simple. Destroys multi-million-dollar vehicles. Real cheap to manufacture. The way they weatherproof them is just with plastic. Keeps all the dirt, the mud, all the elements out of the package, so it can go whenever it needs to. The explosives that they've been using mainly here is ANAL, ammonium nitrate, and aluminum. Real simple to make in your kitchen, your basement. Once it's kind of a wet process, you throw it in the sun, it dries, and then you have your explosive. And you can throw it in a 40-pound jug, and it can cause some serious damage to the vehicle too.
The other day when the truck got blown up, the 7-ton, our intention really is to go out there and first off clear the area, make sure there are no secondary IEDs in the area, and then after that do a thorough post-blast assessment. That will help us decide what exactly happened, the amount of explosive that was used, the type of explosive that was used, and the triggering system. Of course, we went out the other day, we did find a secondary IED, which causes us to step back and approach it in a different way, I suppose.
Pressure plate and probably 40 pounds or so of HME.
When I find a secondary IED, the first thing I think of is what not to do. I want to find out what it is, how it works, how to approach it, but not do anything wrong at the same time. So that's what I do. As soon as I find something, I clarify, I answer all those questions, and then pull back from there, and typically we attack it with the robot if we're able to.
Hey, you saw where the pressure plate was, right? Are you driving or Cambodian? Yeah, just take a left. It'll be jug. Just drive. It'll probably be over the jug. The pressure plate's in front of it. You can't approach from the other side. Okay. Anyway, it should be uncovered enough that you can get it.
The robot attacked the IED in 2 ways. Because the enemy explosives may have been booby-trapped or unstable, the robot dropped a small explosive charge near the yellow jug filled with the homemade explosives that the enemy had buried. The technicians would later detonate the whole shebang. The robot then ripped the pressure plate from the ground and took it back to the technicians, like a dog fetching a bone.
Roger. Two mics until detonation. Please pass all stations down.
Over the 4 combat tours or so, I've probably encountered close to 200 IEDs that we have diffused and taken care of. When I'm actually out there working on an IED or working the scene, I don't really think about it as far as being scared. Maybe after the fact or before I think about it. I think it's a good fear, though. You have to respect what you're doing, and that's the way I look at it. It's not a fear that paralyzes or a fear that keeps you from doing your job, but just know what you're doing.
Somebody just got lucky, honestly. Well,
I've had a few close calls, if you will. The other day, a couple weeks ago, I was pretty close, 25 meters or so. I was lucky I didn't get hit with anything flying. The closest I've had was probably in Iraq. I had a few close calls, but with an IED was probably about 10 meters or so away. A 155 millimeter IED detonated, and of course it threw me pretty far, but I didn't get hit. So using up some of my 9 lives. My wife does worry about what I do, but we really don't talk about what happens over here. When we get to talk or chat on email, we don't talk about my work or what's actually happening. We talk about family and life and what I'm going to do when I get back, not necessarily what happens here. No reason to worry or more.
Wait until she sees you down on your hands and knees brushing the dirt away from that pressure plate.
Hopefully she won't see that one. We'll see. I'll tell her it's staged.
While the 3-man truck crew walked away, it would be wrong to say they were uninjured.
We were running a convoy from Eddie to Nowzad for resupply, and rolled down a hill and exploded. After the explosion, it blew one of the tires, I believe, the driver's side front, about 350 meters up the hill, which is right back there.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Did you lose consciousness?
I don't know. I just came down, made sure my guy was okay, made sure my driver's okay. Then after that, just waited for EOD to get here.
First time you've been blown up?
No,
How many other times?
I've been blown up since the second time.
Want to do it a third time?
No. It's not fun. It's part of the job.
All 3 of these guys lost consciousness. Every one of them. So when you're dealing with that, you're talking about a brain injury of some shape or form. I'm not going to tiptoe around that. I'm going to medevac them as soon as possible. And they need to be seen like yesterday if they lost consciousness. I was telling you earlier, is when you're interviewing these guys, I've developed a relationship where they'll tell me everything. Some things I don't really want to know, they'll tell me. But to open up and ask them what happened to a complete stranger, that's going to bring them back. They're going to think about what actually did happen. Instead of joking around about it or anything else, it's a serious moment. And that's when you're going to see a Marine actually think about it. Reality is set in. Like, wow, that did just happen. I almost did die. That could have been a bad situation.
Went black. And waking up. Make sure all my Marines are okay. That's about it.
Gell's is a good guy. tough as nails, but you just ask him what happened. So you're making him think back to what just happened. And that's the last place he wants to be right now.
With one another. And looking back, it felt forever. It did. It really did. It felt like it lasted hours, but like I said, when you get on the elevator, you start to go up, you feel that like drop. No, I like the hydraulics. Hydraulics with the low riding. That's all it was. It's loud. It really was.
The three men were flown to a hospital in the rear. Next up for 2nd Platoon was a 3-day patrol in the area of Kurgay, 6 miles south of Nauzan.
Two places we're going to be operating the most, the Kurgay and possibly Bahrain. The big thing is we're not going down there with a whole lot, but we're going down there with enough to sustain for a little while before we adjourn. You got to be mindful of some of the new PCPs that are in the AO. Star Lamar was killed by an RC IED that was in a tree. So stay away from the tree lines. I already talked to Lieutenant Blair. He said one of the patterns that he realized we had set down there was the shade tree. It's hot, right? Where are we gonna go? We're gonna try to find some shade. Pay attention to where you're going. We're gonna push down to Dahana. Right now they're saying that the route that they cleared is clear, but there's no overwatch on that route, so I'm not taking it. And I'll tell you why, because we have no support. If we hit something and blow up a truck, we're going to be sitting for about 8 or 9 hours, because we got to wait for a record to come from Bob Eddy. Okay? So my intent is not to break any trucks or hit any IEDs for the next 72 hours.
There was a problem with the new route to Kurgay. It had to cross a dry riverbed, a wadi, and there were so few crossing points that they became choke points. Marines worried this one had been mined. The Marines don't have medics. They get corpsmen from the Navy. This corpsman, Chief Petty Officer Eric Motes, had 5 previous combat tours, by far the most combat experience of anybody in the unit.
This isn't the route we normally take. We usually take the route right up by the pass and then come down. So they're going to turn around. It is choke points, and that's the choke point. Cautionary. Cautionary. I'm on company tank and I got police station. You did? Okay.
The Marines approached Kurgay the way they approached all villages. They parked their heavily armed vehicles a half-mile outside of town and walked in. This day, the temperature was 110 degrees.
Hey, pass it back, get about 10 or 15 meters dispersion.
They were especially wary at Kurgay because 3 days earlier, Marines from a different unit had been fired on here. Remember Staff Sergeant Kesterson's warning about IEDs in trees? Corporal Glover spotted a bag in this tree, climbed up, and grabbed it.
Yeah.
I lick it. And then lick it.
Yeah.
That's what they do off the CSI.
Hey, Newberg! Newberg!
It's quite lick it.
No, I didn't lick it, Chief.
Well, why in the hell didn't you
I'm not
lick it?
gonna lick it.
That's what they did. That's what Grissom did off CSI.
You wanna lick it, Chief?
No, I ain't licking it. I
Hey, bye.
I'm never a big fan of CSI.
Just found this hanging in the tree. A lot of opium. Smack. Crystals. They're good.
You didn't lick it though, so we can't confirm it.
Well, I wouldn't hang real like diamonds or anything up in a tree.
I would.
We all pick it up? Yeah, I tore it down. I didn't know what it was.
We haven't enjoyed the shade yet though. I just want to put that out there.
You should eat this one, Chief.
You know, I didn't say eat, but lick. I didn't touch that. I tell you about the marijuana plant I found?
Oh, the tree they had?
It's right out there.
Is it?
Nowhere. We'll walk right by it.
Hey, should we take this or what? Yeah?
Should we lick it?
I don't pick it up, leave it. Leave it? Alright, sweet. We're just here to stop.
Did you explain to him about the shade issue?
Not drugs.
I just got here.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't spider monkeyed into that tree.
Well, I did. It felt like we were in danger.
The heroin that Corporal Glover found in the tree had been refined from opium grown in these fields that had just been harvested. This day, Marines also found this farmer with a bag of raw opium. Staff Sergeant Kesterson radioed instructions for one of the more perplexing parts of their mission.
Roger, my guidance is, if it's a significant amount like the one we found that day, that, a large amount, you can bring it over here to me, and I can probably use it as leverage, like, Warhammer 6 did. Other than that, they still don't want us to be seizing any property, due to the fact that it's the only way of life for these people to make money right now.
Roger, that's what I thought. It's a small amount, only one bag, probably about 10 kilos.
Roger, you're good. If you want to take some photos, that's fine. Other than that, go ahead and leave it there.
What's that? You already got enough? Well, it looks like he had it buried in a hole. Is this a stash that he has for away for like emergency times if they need money? Or is he planning on selling this soon?
I wanted to talk to Dr. Yagse.
Yeah, مش مشملة تكملت. Who is he going to sell it to?
ده فكرة كانت رؤوس بازار فسادي. He said, I felt there's no specific guy. Everybody who come here, any smuggler who want to buy my coffee, so I sell it.
So the smugglers? He's selling it to smugglers? He knows he's selling it to smugglers?
Yeah, of course he said that there are smugglers coming.
Okay. Tell him that we're not going to take any opium. But I do want to just cut it and inspect it real quick. I want to inspect that bag. Okay?
I don't want to start to talk to his corner. I thought it was a check over. Google it. Let him open it.
You got more bags. You know they use these to these bags to wrap the pressure plates.
Yeah, I know. I saw. I can find a lot of things.
Waterproof. Yeah. Banana.
In the courtyard of the finest house in Kyrgyz, the Marines held a shura, a meeting with village elders.
Thank you for having me sit down and talking to me. I can tell this place is a little bit more secure than some of the places we've been.
We must have administered here around Zaidi, and from that time till now, nobody is fired over here. The last time was fired when you people were here, the
3 days ago?
Yeah, 2 or 3 days ago, they fired on it. That's it. The rest of them never happened in this area.
I can tell that everybody here is are good people. They're looking me in the eye, and I can tell by looking in their eyes that they're genuinely concerned with the country and genuinely concerned with the security of the people, and not only in this village, but now that valley itself. Just so he knows, there's supposed to be a lot more police coming to the area in the next 4 days.
As the elders made clear, this was not good news. In the villages, the Afghan police are widely viewed as incompetent and corrupt. The elders said they'd be happier to see more Afghan National Army, but not police.
I didn't actually know about the Marine Corps until about towards the end of my junior year in high school. I thought the Army was actually the cool guys. I was wrong. I always did want to join the military because my uncle was in the Army. He was a helicopter pilot, Apache. You just get such a fresh start, right out of high school. If you're not sure what you want to do, you don't know if you want to go to school, hop in the military and everything's just handed to you, living expenses, food, and plus you get paid, and you're not going to have a lot of bills, so it's all going in your pocket. I've thought about re-enlisting, but I don't know. I joined directly after high school. I missed, actually before my high school graduation. I missed my high school graduation, my high school prom, summer after your senior year. I missed everything. I went straight in early, got my diploma early, and I've never had a life other than, the Marine Corps. I joined the Marines to become an infantryman because, well, I can't see myself doing anything else, I can't see myself as pushing papers or doing admin or supply, working in a warehouse. I've always hunted growing up, so I'm pretty good with weapons, and I don't know, I enjoy shooting, and I want to kill people. I really do. I want to kill bad people. So I got a itchy trigger right now. It's ready to be pulled. Kids love me. I think they love me because they can almost speak to me like they were speaking to someone else, because I learned so much from them. By the way they're talking, I can almost tell what they say, and then I ask the Turb what they said, and it just clicks. If I hear it again later, I'll know what to say back. And I can just talk with them, learn their names, write their names in English on the ground. They love it, seeing their own names in English. It's a good time. I really enjoy it because seeing them smile, they got a easy life. What is there to do fun out here in the open desert? Throw rocks, ride a donkey, ride a bike. There's nothing to do out here, and to see them laugh, have a good time. I don't know, because those are the guys that they're gonna be. Most of the Taliban that has been killed so far has been in the age of 14 to 18, and those guys are pretty close to that. And if we're gonna stop this war, winning them over is probably priority. Because they're the ones that are growing up.
Corporal Glover. He's another one of the characters in the platoon. Corporal Glover's a lot of fun. He's got a great sense of humor. He comes from a strong family. I'm pretty sure he's got a boxing background, so he's tough as nails. Doesn't back down from anybody.
He is the epitome of a young Marine. Corporal Glover, he's a good kid, great kid. I'd do anything in the world for him. Man is deep green behind the ears.
I wouldn't trade Corporal Glover for anything. Maybe.
I don't know what he was thinking when he went up in that tree.
He's been briefed on those bags too. You know, that's an enemy TTP right now, putting things in trees, not to touch stuff in trees, booby traps, IEDs. He knows. It's just one of those things, again, he doesn't listen and takes it upon himself to say, hey, what's this?
It was like a 5-mile pump into that town under a microwave, and I just found that tree. I was excited to find that tree, and I know he went spider monkeying up into it, and I probably should have gotten up, but I was dead ass tired. And he came down with the rock, and it was interesting. He felt my shade. That's what I thought.
The heroin thing, now that I think about it, was completely stupid. You know, that could have easily been blow me up, but I seen a bag up there. It didn't see no wires, nothing like that. So I climbed the tree, ripped the bag out, and turns out it was a fist full of heroin. Shitload of it.
It didn't occur to you that that could be a booby trap?
It did after. Afterwards, it definitely occurred to me that, hey, maybe if I pull on this, something would happen. But, I don't know, just in my mind, I can't get out of the mindset of nothing's going to happen to me. I'll be fine, you know? I can't get out of that. It's starting to kick in after I keep seeing loads of friends of mine getting hurt and everything happening around me. And it's starting to kick in a little bit, but I don't think I'll ever be able to get out of that. Nothing's going to happen to me. I'm invincible kind of thing.
The Marines wanted to keep a better eye on Ken Jack-O-Lea, and this 200-foot hill was perfect, except the Marines were sure the enemy had planted a minefield. To clear a path through that minefield, the Marines launched a rocket. And that rocket laid down a 350-foot white rope of explosives, nearly a ton in all. That blast cleared a path 100 meters long and about 8 meters wide. But that didn't quite reach the top.
Rock and roll.
So the Marines humped smaller versions of the rocket-launched explosives up the hill to blast a path all the way to the top.
Clearing this hilltop here, Hope, Arizona, just so we can make a nice base to observe the enemy. I mean, they've been watching us, so it's time for us to watch them. Up here at the top, anti-personnel obstacle breaching system. It's 55 meters long, pretty much composed of deck cord and 108 fragmentation grenades. Used them a couple times. It's just, you gotta do it quick, really. I mean, get out of the way. It's a nice bang.
Yeah, it was a big adrenaline rush, too, because, you know, you got so many seconds to get out there. If you trip or anything, you know, you're screwed. So, you know, pulling that thing and running is a big priority.
Go. Yeah. Good.
The Marines had stayed all day in one spot, out in the open. By late afternoon, they'd become an inviting target for a mortar team in Ken Jack-O-Lea.
As we were leaving, we started taking IEF from the city, Ken Jack-O-Lea.
Looked over and heard this noise, and I saw this big old cloud of smoke, and I guess about the same time I saw it, other people saw it, so I yelled out, we're taking mortar fire, and
we had positive identification of the enemy as they were going in there. You could see smoke coming from the tree line, so we started opening fire on the tree line.
then everybody started shooting towards where we took mortar fire from.
And then called 120 millimeter mortars dropped. And then I guess howitzers also got in on it. And the city got pretty banged up.
Hey, did you see him, Winkle? Huh? Did you see him? We just went behind the building.
Yeah, he's with the definitely.
Look at a single tree. Yeah.
All right, they're going to be poking
Right there.
Dan, moving. And he is, in fact, firing at 10 Jack Dolio. How copy? I want to just ensure that you know where our friendly position is and where the enemy position is, over.
Marines fired back with 120-millimeter mortars from an outpost about 2.5 miles away. Those rounds exploded on the far side of the village.
Yeah, we're deep, sir. He just dropped 800.
Yeah. That was right to the left of it.
What was Jesse?
Stand by. Everyone should stay in place because the 155 round should be dropped.
155-millimeter artillery rounds fired from a different base about 14 miles away exploded right in the heart of the village.
Next time we go to that village.
Keep moving through it.
Sucks to live in that village.
Good.
The Marine artillery fire killed 3 men, an old woman, and a small girl. It wounded another 2 men and 5 more children. Even though it had been Marines who shelled their village, the villagers loaded some dead and wounded into cars and drove for help to the Marines.
Let him go! Right now! Let me only get this guy! He's gone. Hold on. Tell him all calm down. Calm down. Get him in the truck. We're going to escort you. We're going to escort him to the LZ while the helicopter is waiting for him. Everybody calm down.
Indiana. No, right there. He wants your doc right there. Doc, there's a truck.
Así de serio, ¿eh?
Hey, we need to get this girl out of here.
Come here. Get on the 7 ton with the dog. Let's go. Everything happens.
The Marines raced the wounded to the helicopter landing zone at Nauzad so they could fly the villagers to military hospitals. At the landing zone, the chief and others worked to save lives until the helicopters arrived.
Let's go. Hey, give me vital. Yeah, okay, I see it. Get him out of here. Ready? Hey, get you done.
Well, we got some more arteries, Lee. I'll give you more here in a second. Cut that tape. Come on. There you go. You can a man. What do you got on Paul? Which one you got? That's good. How much do you need? How much do you need? That's good. That's good. Hold on. Stop! I ain't that nothing. He's gone. Body bag him. Get him out of here. Hey, we got another one on that. Body bag him. Get him out of here. Hey, take him over there. Come on, baby. What's this guy? Go drop him to the belt. To the Calvin? Yeah. Hey, Harris. Go. You on him? Yeah. Get the little boy. They get the little boy. Let's go.
You don't have a litter, let me know. Where's that litter? You go grab that litter? Hold on, no, they got it. Yeah, I thought so. Hey, you go take this on back. Got that Jeep? I'm not doing shit right now. Push it far away from me. Yeah. First, 10 lights out. 10 lights out, got it.
In the midst of this chaos, Sergeant Javen Roberson and an interpreter began interviewing an elder from Kenjac Olean. What was lost in translation is just another measure of the barriers to success. The elder named the 4 men who fired the mortars at the Marines, including the name of their commander. But that's not exactly what Sergeant Roberson gets from his interpreter. His interpreter's native language is Dari, one of Afghanistan's 2 major languages. The other language is Pashto, and the interpreter's Pashto is poor. The elder speaks Pashto. Note the differences between what the elder says and what the interpreter tells Sergeant Roberson.
So, how many people were shooting from the garden?
The Lord, motorcycle.
4 motorcycles. 4 motorcycles. The 4 guys in motorcycles.
یو دغه وطن د غره په تطبیق دغه وطن د یو د کاري صافه د مالدار ماسوم د یو دغه ځای کې اوس یو کمین دی د فورخان دی اوس په موټر ګاټانو راځول کیږي دا کومندان دی بس یا مېنه کوي یا وانه پېږي چې دغه یو د کاري سره دا فاطمه په دغه ځای کې پروتې ماسوم دی دا د نږدې د کاري سره مالدار د اوس نه دا سره هغه ته کوي یو واخه څنګه وته ما په لکه څه څه ولګې د شپې وستم ما
One of them is from Torres. Yeah. And I told him, do you know him? He said, no, I haven't seen, but somebody told me he's from Torres. The guy who was firing the mortars. Yeah. Tell him he needs help. Well, one of them is Haji Karim's son, and the other one, the other one is Kamil. They know what's going to happen. They know if they shoot us, we shoot back at them, there's going to be kids there. There's going to be innocent people there. You have to help us get these bad guys, these Taliban, so this won't never happen again. Otherwise, it's all to win it. وبعد من توعي من تكمك شيء ده They dash razi. They razi to your flower to dash for a raka barara to Tigray. See a negative ruler. The master of Kuala Naul is the Baba and a barrel. The Finnegan. Yeah, I tell you, they are not going to tell you. Use the rally to shoot. You guys know what you're doing. Do it right.
This is war. This is what happens in war.
This is war. And that's the first thing that people need to understand. We had a situation where we were taking indirect fire up to 6 rounds of indirect fire.
155 battery was cleared hot when ready, and they fired, and they had 4 rounds that went a little long of their targets.
When those rounds leave the tube, you can't really control what happens after that. We had some, civilian casualties, and right away, we took care of that situation.
There's always going to be collateral damage. There's always going to be that innocent bystander that gets hurt in the middle of it. Our job on the medical field, my corpsman and me, we don't deal with politics. We don't wear pants big enough to deal with politics, and we don't have the time to mess around with it. We'll treat the casualty, leave everything on the field, get into the next echelon of care. Everything we can do.
But they're letting the Taliban shoot us from their city. It's their own damn fault, in my opinion. If you're a pro-Taliban city, you deserve to be wiped out completely. What good are they doing you? You know what I mean?
Came back after OF1. 2nd Transportation Support Battalion asked for me again to go out, only this time lead the corpsman into that fight. That was during the fall of Fallujah. I lost a lot of boys in that one. We actually went over there not expecting too much based off the first trip out to Iraq. We didn't really see that much. We got in ambushes here and there, but all in all, it wasn't that big of a fight. Went over the second time, leading out the corpsman as the 2nd class, and we had our asses handed to us. The Iraqis caught on really quick that the slow-moving green trucks was great target practice. They hit us with everything from IEDs to mortars to small arms fire, heavy arms fire. Lost a lot of boys in that one. After that, I went with Special Boat Team 22, deployed twice to Iraq with them. Special Boat Team, we transport special forces, any soft unit, via river transport into the battle. We hot insert, hot extract, and we patrol the rivers. Carry all the Gucci toys. We had the FLIRs, all the great weaponry that you can have on there. Field team, actually I went over there as strictly support, but we lost our corpsman in that one. So I ended up doing all the operational stuff with them. Got to play. I got back from Field Team 7. 3 weeks later, I'm in Afghanistan with 1-2 Alpha.
Chief Moats is one of those odd breeds that you find that doesn't he doesn't rest on his laurels. He doesn't find himself. If I go to BAS to find him, I might find him there giving guidance to the young corpsmen, but I can oftentimes find him out there doing something for this company.
He has a large wealth of experience. He's strong, he's bold, he's aggressive. He's not afraid to, address hire. He's not afraid to address young Marines or sailors. Words can't express Chief Moats to me sometimes. He's out of control. He's funny.
Yeah, you never know what's going to come out of his mouth when he speaks. I would give him that.
I think as far as authority goes, and I don't have a problem with authority. As long as they listen to me and they agree with me, we're fine. My father was a corpsman with 19, First Marine. Yeah, 19, First Battalion, 9th Marines. When he went to Vietnam, he turned around and volunteered twice. So he did 2 tours with Vietnam. Talking to my mother, she said that she sees a lot of him and me before he left. Unfortunately, 19 had a high mortality rate, a lot of deaths. He did not come back the same man that he left. I found him after OF1 and got to know him a little better. about kicked my ass after he found out I joined the Navy to become a corpsman. Got to find out a little more about his history, what happened there. I think there's some part of me that does worry that I'll end up being like my father. There's some part of me that does worry that. I get back, and of course the boys invite me over to the bar, and you know, I catch myself about 3-4 drinks in, and that's enough, and I gotta go home. It does worry me to a point, but I know yeah, he is my father, but we're not the same person. Yes, I have been married. Unfortunately, 6 deployments and marriage usually don't go hand in hand. She was a Navy nurse. Yeah. It hurt, stung a lot, but I don't feel that it was fair for her either. Looking back on it, it wasn't fair for her. I'm not that chief that likes to sit back in an AC eating cheesecake. If there's somebody else out there that wants me to go, I'm going to go in a heartbeat. No, there's no woman in my life. I haven't been to the right strip bar. The worst thing that's happened to me in the Navy was my first casualty. Before I left with 2nd TSB, I got really close with my Marines. Really close with my Marines. I knew all their names, and I could probably tell you half their zodiac signs. And I remember one of them coming up to me for their smallpox vaccinations just before we deployed, introduced me to his wife, who was 2 months pregnant at the time, and invited me over for dinner. And great kid. Went to Iraq just about 2 days before we crossed the Burma in Iraq. Him and 3 other Marines were taken shade by an Iraqi fuel tanker, and the sand shifted, and it came down on those boys. Got out there and saw that one was pinned under the fork of the 25-ton tanker. I came around, and I saw one boy that was half underneath it. He was trapped underneath the sway bar, still alive. Was taking care of him. He didn't want me taking care of him. He wanted me taking care of the boy at the fork, who I knew was dead. I just looked over, and it was that boy, the one I gave the smallpox to. His eyes still open, crystal clear. That boy